Hello there, it's Terry here from Cloudy Coral Designs. I am back on the channel today. Today I am sharing this card that I created using the new Black Friday release called Camping Out. For this card, I am using a few of the dies from the release. I am using Camping Out Fox, Camping Out Campfire and Sign, Camping Out Mountains and Trees, Camping Out Sun and Moon. Okay guys, so this Black Friday release is amazing. If you love the outdoors like I do, this will give you a lot of inspiration. So what I'm doing here is I died cut all of the images out on white cardstock, and then I went in with my Copic markers. What I like to do when I'm coloring is I start off with my lightest shade first, and then I go in with my midtone, and then go in with my dark tone, and then go back in using the lighter shade to blend everything in together. The colors of the Copic markers that I'm using to color in the fox is E08, E09, and E79. And after I finished coloring his cute little face, I went ahead and colored his body using the same set of markers. And again, I started off with my lighter shade, which is E08. Then I went in with the mid-tone, E09, and then the dark tone, E79. And I went back in with E08 to blend everything together. Now, after all of the pieces has been colored in, I use a strong liquid adhesive to piece everything together. So here you can see me putting together the little fox. I am gluing down his little arm and putting the tip of his tail on, and then gluing the pieces of his face and his head onto the body. I think this is one of my favorite parts, is piecing everything together. I find it very therapeutic. I'm not sure if it is for you guys, but if it is, please let me know down below. It just makes me happy seeing everything come together and come to life. So here is all of the pieces glued together. And then of course, what I like to do is use a white gel pen. And I went ahead and added little highlights onto each of the images. I'm not doing anything too particular here, just adding a little bit of white highlights here and there. So maybe on the tip of the ears, on the tip of the tail. The reason why I like to use a white gel pen is it creates a little bit more life in the characters, especially when I'm coloring. I like to use a lot of desaturated colors, so when I go in with my white gel pen, it gives the character a little more life. Okay, so for the background scene, I went ahead and used the cross-stitch square set and cut that out of white cardstock. I also used Post-it tape and separated the sky from the ground. So the top half is the sky. And to create the sky, I am using my blending brush with Distress Oxide inks and Faded Jeans and Chipped Sapphire. I am starting off with Faded Jeans first, and then I went in with Chipped Sapphire around the edges. Now to create a little more dimension in the sky, I went ahead and spritzed some water to create an oxidation effect. So now it's time to blend the other half. So I went ahead and placed Post-it tape over the sky. And now I'm using Walnut Stain and Ground Espresso and Distress Oxide inks and blending that together. Okay, so here's the final blended piece. And what I'm doing here is I am using the crescent moon as if it was a full moon peeking from behind the mountain. So using my liquid adhesive, I went ahead and adhered that onto my blended panel. I also went ahead and snipped off a piece of the crescent moon that was hanging off from the mountain. And now it's time to assemble everything together. I use a combination of foam tape and liquid adhesive for this. So the moon, the mountain, and the trees here, I use liquid adhesive. And then I went in with foam tape and popped on one of the trees. I also used foam squares on the fox as well as the campfire. I like using different types of adhesive on my cards because it gives a card a lot of dimension. And I wanted to create a little more texture on my scene, so I went in with a few Copic markers and created little dots on the foreground. What I'm trying to create here is just a look of little pebbles and dirt, just to give it a little more dimension. And I am gluing down heart embellishments. I wanted to create a scene where the fox was blowing or sending hearts over to the recipient. I also decided to go back in with my green Copic markers. I wanted to add a little more shading to the trees. And I also went in with my white gel pen and created little stars in the background. I went ahead and glued down the card front to a black cardstock. I just trimmed this cardstock a little larger than the card panel. I love how adorable this looks. Okay, so to create another element to the card, I use a friendship text cling stamp and stamp that onto gray cardstock. I then used my anti-static powder bag and applied that over the cardstock. I then went in with my favorite sticky clear ink and stamped a sentiment from my stash on the bottom of the gray cardstock. I also applied blue embossing powder over the ink sentiment and heat set that with my heat gun. Okay, so now I'm using a rectangle die from my stash and I'm trimming this cardstock down. And to create the card base, I'm using my favorite black cardstock and I cut that down to 11 inches by 4¼ inches and scored that down at 5½ inches. And of course, I love adding dimension, so I applied foam tape onto the back of the gray cardstock and adhered that onto the card base. I then went ahead and used liquid adhesive and adhered the card front onto the gray cardstock. And now the card is complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I love to mention that there is a giveaway for this video. All that you have to do is be a subscriber, thumbs up, and comment down below. And congratulations to the winner of our previous giveaway. Please check down on the description bar for ways to contact us to claim your prize. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.